Greetings in the name of the Most High Jah Rastafari. This is Sigil Jen, Sister Jenny, Auntie Jenny. And if you want to get formal lessons, Miss Jennifer Frederick, another edition on Louis Talk, the Ting Unfiltered. People, today is Friday, the week is over, just now it's mountain, just now it's independent, just now it's Christmas. Lesson, time and tide waits on no one, but I just wait on my peeps because no I love all they're bad, all they come in all the ones and the twos, and where we are gathered, the truth does talk, right? Love you also, we have a program here, so we stick to it. Must play the anthem, especially this is the month of independence. Must play the anthem. Excuse me there, the pledge.
I solemnly pledge to dedicate my life to the service of my God and my country. I will honor my parents, my teachers, my leaders, and my elders, and those in authority. I will be clean and honest in all my thoughts, my words, and my deeds. I will strive in everything I do to work together with my fellow men of every creed and race for the greater happiness of all and the honor and glory of my country.
This is an honor today for Mrs. Lisa Moran Julian, who departed this space last year. From Arima, the MP for Dabadi Omera, I think the name is changed now. So I know she was one of also the first people. So this too is in dedication to her and her service and remembering her and her children who would have died tragically in that fire. Yeah, those people there can never forget our history, man. We always have something historical, something funny, something African history or just history on the whole. There's something that make you feel good. So I saw this and I know that you all may enjoy this.
Rome had one African woman to deal with. France had an entire army of them. 6,000 women, 200 years, and the French never saw them coming. They were called the Agoje, the all-female elite military regiment of the Kingdom of Dahomey in what is now Benin, West Africa. They were recruited between the ages of 8 and 15. They trained harder than any male soldier in the kingdom. They swore an oath of celibacy. They devoted their entire lives to one thing: war. They were organized into elite regiments: the Gabeto, skilled hunters of elephants; the Gohento, expert archers who used poisoned arrows; and the most feared of all, the Nyekplohento, the Reapers, women who carried razor-sharp knives and had a reputation so terrifying that the kingdom's enemies would rather surrender than face them. At their peak, they made up a third of the entire Dahomey army, and they were considered more effective than the male soldiers. They raided villages under cover of darkness, silent, invisible, deadly. Then in 1890, France arrived in West Africa with modern weapons-trained legions and the absolute certainty that colonizing Dahomey would be straightforward. They were wrong. The Agoje attacked the French forces in the dead of night, hand to hand, blade to blade. In the dark, where French military training and modern rifles meant nothing, the French soldiers wrote home to France describing their terror. One officer wrote that he had never in his military career faced anything that frightened him the way the Agoje did. They fought 2 wars against France, 1890 and 1892. They were outnumbered. They were outgunned. They did not stop. The French eventually overwhelmed them with sheer firepower. But it took the most powerful colonial force on Earth 4 years to defeat 6,000 women who had been fighting since childhood. The kingdom fell in 1894. The Agoje were disbanded. Their story was buried deliberately by the colonial forces, who were ashamed of how hard they had been made to fight. The last known surviving Agoje with battlefield experience was a woman named Nawi. She died in 1979. She was over 100 years old. You know the Dora Milaje, the elite female warriors of Wakanda in Black Panther. Ryan Coogler based them directly on the Agoje. He just gave them the recognition that history denied them. In 2022, Benin unveiled a 98-foot statue in their honor. 6,000 women who terrified an empire, and history buried them. Follow at Unbroken Legacy, because they called themselves Ninon Miton, our mothers.
I want to thank all those who continue to send me videos and stuff that they think I'll be interested in. And I want to also thank my peeps and them just keep me correct, when I go out at timing, just keep me correct. So Cheryl, Attila, Ms. Yvette, thank you all for being locked on. And Shepherd, Augusto, Roslyn, Norton. And I want to tell Augustus, thank you for the correction. Miss, the MP would have not, it was not last year, 2025, it was 2024. So thanks for the correction, Augusto, Cato, thank you so much. So let me continue. I love to see the African fashions. Look at this guy. I don't know if he's really a king or whatever, but look at the outfit he dressed in and look at the way that people are looking at him.
I am Africa, I am the mother, I am the song of creation. I am Africa, I am the mother, the heartbeat of every nation. From the rocks and rivers to the golden plains, I carry the stories, the joys, the pains. The wind calls my name, the stars know my song. Through you, my children, I grow strong.
In the silence of your heart, you will find me.
So that's just some looks there. So look some more African fashion now. When I tell African fashion, beautiful, son, if I cross, I'll have all the clothes. I don't know how I'll be able to tote it back. I'm taking everything.
Oh, lembe, lembe, Africa, my love. From Congo to Senegal, from Ivory Coast to Kenya, this song is for every African heart. Under the Cameroonian sun, we dance the rumba. In Angola, guitar softly tell their stories. Mothers sing songs of love in the villages, while elders share tales of courage and glory. In Mali, the drums awaken the night. In Gabon, the stars shine quietly bright. Even far away from home, we keep our hope alive. Africa remains forever in our minds. Africa lembe, Africa lembe. Our hearts beat to the rhythm of the djembe. Whether black, mixed race or far away, Africa lives in our thoughts every day. Rumba ya Africa, lembe lembe. Our sorrows fade when the guitars carry us away. Hand in hand, let's forget the borders. We are the children of the same motherland. Aye. In Nigeria, children dream while singing. In South Africa, we move forward despite the wind. The African smile never fades away, even when life tries to wear us down each day. From DR Congo to Morocco, people dance to the same tempo. Our cultures are an endless treasure. Africa shines like a paradise forever.
Well, it's so beautiful. Them thing is, let me tell you something, eh? If I have one them thing, where have I gone not sitting down? I'm not eating, I'm not drinking, I don't eat and drink. I just standing, I'm like a statue in the outfit. Hey, listen to, hey. I go in Africa and I bring back some clothes. I know I don't have to pay real money. I had to now send on some barrels with them clothes. And know them think you put in barrel and thing else. Listen now, I go in. It's a flight going up there, I go in and shop. I love them clothes too bad. Oh God, I could see myself. Anyway, let me carry on. I want some music producer, something. I hope this feed these children, and these children get some kind of, let's call it, some music deal or something. They're good like that. Again, coming out of Africa. They're good like that.
I'm give them a vibe. You know what I'm my small boy video, but them they tell them in the reggae, tell them in the vibe. Dance God, yeah. Dance God, me coming, me walking, me look at them. Coming out the real, I'm looking at them, facing me, calling me, I take all the blues, them room. I take all the physics, yeah. Man and them, man and what's me give it and run, no be them in a to them in a ring and a thing. Only one is the thing, and give it and the no be them in a thing. Money die now. We them in Baba, no feed them. Wanna see them in a today to them. Wanna see them in a Baba, no feed them in a them man. Listen, Mr. Teleta, come like calamity in here. Pull up in a pump, and I will run. In a rude about my tell them saying in a brother. And my tell me tell, so me look at them, me get to you them land. Man, I rude don't see a pile in a bird. And I want to pass any road and come in. Yeah, I'm selling. Man, a bad man pull up in a Benz. Man, a bad man pull up in a Benz. I'm a hero. I'm a hero. Many people they wanna see me up. Bending anytime where the sun is shining, everybody wanna kill it. Them other come them baba. Tell me I'm a see them and what's a killer. Them a stand rock up by style. Give me them a conga. Them a body them a police and me a up when I'm bending anytime when I do. Man pull up in a Benz hill. Don't let me in a crew in a credit. One me and we a dance body. fire, me never talking in the weather. Because the man, they attack all the blues, and me fire, me they kill them in the weather.
Look now, Bonjour, Sizzla, Cape Town, Queen Omega, Lady Africa, all you. Link them. Like the vibes. Let me continue. All I see this and it real crack me up. I'll give you just a little story. This real crack me up when I see it.
Driver, let me off your sir and try and change. Come in and pay no full fare and squeeze up like patty in a cocoa bread.
No, I don't know if that little girl really in that car and whatever, but I know it is to squeeze out like a patty bread and saying driver the same thing I want to come out. I travel in a car. I have nothing against people who more beefy and more voluptuous than me. I'm not getting there with that whatever, right? But I feel people should understand and a driver should understand how big his back seat is, right? So you pick up one lady who very voluptuous, big and thing, whatever, all right? I go in the back seat too. Great. She take up 3/4 of the seat, so I take up a quarter. So you know that the whole seat there, right? But the driver stop again now and pick up somebody big like she too. And I didn't know what really to say. I get kind of confused because I didn't want to embarrass anybody to fat shame or anything, right? Now when that person coming, I'm in the middle. I remember I tell you the other one don't take up 3/4 of the seat, I take up a quarter. So I don't know which quarter I did get after that. But I know the one who they take up the 3/4 to make room, she raised so. And I have to come so and then have she bottom rest on top of my hip bone. And then the next one who come in, she bottom rest on my next hip bone. And then the shoulder rest across here and a shoulder rest across there. So I was getting real trouble to breathe, right? So I tell the driver, I said, driver, that's when I say I have to talk. I said, driver, because somebody come out in the front seat. So I use that as an excuse. I said, driver, with the little breath I could catch because I can't breathe in and out so because they locked down here, so right, and they hip on me, the bottom on top of my hip bone and thing, right? I pinned down. I said, driver, as the person come out in front, I come in front. It's like I cuss them to women and them because when one come out and I come out, they watch me cut I up, down and all kind of thing. And I want to know how I wrong for trying not to be suffocated and to make sure my hip bone and them in order. And I go in the front seat and sit down and think, when I come out the car, watch me, and them watch me up and down and think, I swear they wanted to come out. So I just walk fast and get out of the way because I don't understand how people so unreasonable. It can be. I had some pain for a couple of days because I tell you the rest down on top of my hip bone and them is how big I is, right? So I could understand the little girl and I could understand the vibes that I still remember it. Trauma. Real trauma I go through, And let's talk about it so let's make it better. So let me continue. That little girl just threw me like the visa from Tuesday. The little girl talking kind of threw me back. So let's watch this again. We are so inventive with the musical instruments that we create. And look at this.
And in the realm of originals, this is one of our other original instruments again here, called a bamboo lin. If you look or you listen to a bamboo patch, how it does behave, right? And you watch how it sway, how it move, and then it have a particular sound that the bamboo does give when they rub against one another. A kind of eerie screech or a squeal or a kind of high pitch kind of know the bamboo patch does give. bambulin.
But the bambulin, no, these things are quite tasty, and I'm not really fully into the music thing, but it started to grow on me, and I started to appreciate that song. So I could imagine when it's in a kind of orchestral vibes and thing, but big up Rastaman, big up for your ingenuity, big up for the music and thing, yeah? Enough love. Hey, Sarah, Christopher, Emmeline, Shireen, Charles, Brian, Bolty, Melka. Thank you all for staying up down and tuning in. You all know, listen to pizza love all I don't know. Don't let nobody come between me and all that. You hear tell them all that? Okay, if they say I say tell them they lie. And if they say all this, I go say all they lie too. Right. Not all that, but them who tell me, right. So let me continue, it continues. I saw this and I found it funny as well. Things I find funny, people may not find funny, but I find it funny. Look at this.
He's absolutely crushed that. That is massive. Wait a second. He's hit the drone. The throwing down is crashed on onto the outfield. Unbelievable scenes. Oh, he's the drink drop. That's beautifully struck. High towards long on. Catch it. The fielder's getting underneath it. He's judged this well. Hang on, where's the ball got? It's Wisman's basket. What on earth have we just seen? He's found it. The groundsman's got the ball and he's handing it back. That is brilliant. I've watched cricket for years. That has been absolutely hammered. It's huge. Six still climbing. Oh wait, there's an eagle above the stadium. The ball stop it.
The ball cleared and looked at the rope to a field.
That has been absolutely crushed. It's heading straight into the crowd. Oh no, straight into his drink.
He wanted a cold drink. He got a cold shower.
Look at his face. Drilled straight. What? The monkey's got the bat. Look at him go. Absolute.
Well, I guess you'll call that cricket bloopers. I find it funny as hell, especially when they drop inside the drink for the little boy in it. Hello. Anyways, somebody send us him at the time, what the woman, not that I look like the woman or anything like that, we similar, we song alike, whatever, what she was saying, they kind of think of me. And that's why they think I do this stuff I do, right? So let's listen to this quickly. I found it interesting.
People ask me why I write these letters, why at my age I'm still quarreling with this country in the newspapers and on social media. Let me tell you why. This country took a poor girl from East Dry River and made her somebody. I owe it. And you don't go quiet on something you owe. I'm Denise Deming. Other people will know me as Denise Romani. This week, I want to tell you, my mother went to school up to Standard 2. That's it, Standard 2. My father learned a trade. He was a shoemaker. Neither of them was what you could call properly educated. Imagine that. They were not properly educated. Their daughter has 3 degrees. Imagine that. 3. Not because I was special, because this country at that time put a ladder in front of children like me. Free education, real opportunity. My parents couldn't hand me connections. They handed me the ladder this country built and they said, climb. And I want to tell you what the top of that ladder felt like. It felt like walking home from a party at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Before I was even 18, my friends lived closer. So one by one, they'd reach home, and the last stretch of the road was mine alone. A teenage girl alone in the middle of the night. Think of that. And I felt safe. Hold those 2 things together, because together they were the country's promise. The ladder said, do well and the doors will open. Not know somebody, not carry an envelope, just do well. The road said, you belong here at any hour and nobody will trouble you. Opportunity and safety, that was the deal. I am the evidence that the deal was real because I climbed it with nothing in my hand but school books. Now let me put the therapist hat on, because there's something I need you to understand about why I can't stay quiet. In my office, when a couple sits down and they're still arguing, still writing letters, still quarreling about the same thing after 30 years, you know what I see? Hope. You only fight for something you still believe in. The dangerous couple is the quiet one. We talked about that in episode 1. Indifference is the end. Anger is still a form of love. So when you see me in the papers quarreling about pensions, plastic bottles, the state of things, don't mistake it for bitterness. That is a woman who is still in love, refusing to watch the marriage die quietly. Criticism from a stranger is an attack. Criticism from someone who owes you their whole life. That is loyalty with its voice raised. This week, I want you to do one thing. Tell somebody your ladder story. Who put the ladder in front of you? A teacher? A program? A stranger who gave you a chance? Say it out loud to somebody younger than you. Because a country that forgets how people climbed stops building ladders. And gratitude that stays in your head builds nothing.
Beautifully said. And next I will tell you who put some ladders in front of me to climb. So let me continue. I'm seeing that the steel workers, they having some steel workers union. They, I guess, asking to come at the table. You know, this new company coming to IB Steel or something to take over the steel company we had here. I played it for you, and it is not just simply that we have to ask questions because it could have consequences, just like what they used to be thinking with the smelter plant. This has more issues with it when you listen to it about chemicals seeping in the water and it's wrong and into the air and all that. So this is what the steel workers have to say. Union.
For the Steelworkers Union of Trinidad and Tobago, the announcement of a restart for the Point Lisa steel plant is welcome news, as it could add a desperately needed boost to the economy. But the celebration comes with a warning.
The reopening of the steel plant, though, cannot and does not mean that doors must be closed on the people that built it.
The union has represented workers in the steel industry since 1980 and says history has given it detailed knowledge of the plant's operations, from production to the movement of finished steel through the port.
That any serious attempt to reopen the steel industry in Trinidad and Tobago must include the workers who built the steel industry for over 4 decades.
The union's concern intensified after the reopening announcement, which it says was made without its involvement.
I had a meeting with my executive and I had a meeting with my general membership, and we felt that we were slighted. We felt that we were frozen out as an important stakeholder.
Despite that frustration, the union says it does not want the dispute to derail the restart.
Our doors are open. We are open to engagement. We are open to collaboration. We are open to cooperating once the right approach is adopted.
Among the union's concerns is what happens to collective bargaining arrangements once operations resume. It wants assurances that workers will continue to have representation under the laws governing industrial relations.
The first question: will our government and our Honorable Prime Minister and her cabinet recognize the rights of the workers to union representation and collective bargaining in accordance with the laws of Trinidad and Tobago?
The Steelworkers Union is also looking back at circumstances surrounding the plant's closure in 2016, asking if government will pass and enact amendments to the Retrenchment, Severance and Benefit Act, which would have implications on some 644 employees terminated by ArcelorMittal.
There were workers with 20 and 30 years service with contractors that provided service for that tenure of time. And they too are forgotten, and they too would not have been paid any separation benefit.
And there is another unresolved financial issue. The union says former workers remain creditors in the liquidation process involving ArcelorMittal.
We are seeing that the plant is purported to be in the hands of new owners. We are asking what is the status as it relates to the compensation and debts owed to the creditors.
At the same time, the union wants government to engage former steel workers directly as plans for the restart take shape. As Bailey says, 45% of the former workers are interested in working for the new owners once the plant reopens.
But we have done a preparatory work. We have all the documentations as necessary as relates to our members, their skill sets, what departments they work in, the areas of their expertise and their strong points.
The union is also seeking a meeting with Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar. The president says correspondence was sent to her while she was in opposition and again after she entered government.
So I do not know if these correspondence are reaching the Prime Minister. And if it has not been reaching the Prime Minister, I want to say, Honorable Prime Minister, since you were in opposition, I have been asking as the leader of this union for a meeting with your good self. And we would appreciate a meeting with your good self.
But the union is signaling that it does not want the disagreement to become a legal battle. The union says it remains open to discussions with government and the new purchaser, but will continue pressing for clarity on workers' rights, outstanding claims, and opportunities for former steel workers as the plant moves towards reopening.
I wish them all the success, yes. I'm also seeing in the Guardian, this was today, PTSC workers, let me put up a picture here. PTSC workers seek answers on long outstanding wage talks. Transport and Industrial Workers Union, TIWU, President Sean Roberts yesterday sought to allay concerns excuse me, amongst members who visited the union's Laventille headquarters seeking an update on long-running wage negotiations. A small group of Public Transport Service Corporation PTSC workers arrived unannounced at the office seeking answers about delays in resolving their wage demands. The workers said they had received no update from the union since December. And on December 16, 2025, Roberts and union members marched the city gates to the Ministry of Transport and Civil Aviation in Port of Spain, where he delivered a letter addressed to Transport and Civil Aviation Minister Eliza Cool. The letter outlined the difficult financial circumstances facing PTSC workers, whom Roberts said were struggling to support themselves and their families on current salaries. With several other unions having recently started negotiation, workers said they felt aggrieved and wanted answers, insisting their concerns could not have been adequately addressed through a phone call. Roberts told Media Guardian that a breaking down on communication had contributed to workers' frustration. There was a lack of communication where information wasn't disseminated to these workers. Some of them were unaware of where the negotiations were at. So they came to find out where it's at right now, and that was resolved, he said. They just came to find out where the negotiations are at because they are seeing everybody talk, make a noise, other unions. So they just came for a little information which they received. Asked for an update on negotiation which have remained unresolved. At least 3 collective bargaining periods dating back to 2015, Roberts said the matter remains before the Chief Personnel Officer at ICPO, Dr. Darrell India. Right now, 24, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 at the CPO. As usual, everybody negotiates with the CPO, so we are waiting for feedback from the CPO, he said. Roberts added that negotiations for the 21-23 period are currently before the PTSD board. He said the union had requested a 10% increase for each bargaining period and was awaiting a response from the state through the CPO before beginning discussion on current 2023 to 2026 period. Guardian Media contacted India for an update on the outstanding negotiation but received no response up to press time. Roberts also welcomed a proposal to increase PTSD operation by expanding services to as many as 30 additional routes, particularly in rural communities. From what I know, 24 maxis will be coming in to deal with certain routes that were not functioning for the past years. I mean, 30. I think it's 30 maxis. There is 30 more maxis and 30 more drivers to drive. So that is progress at the end of the day, said. Excuse me. Let me read this here. I wonder if the gentleman, the head of the union, is aware of this, and all the unions who look into the 10%, which they deserve. I wonder if they are aware of this. This was in the Guardian today. Charat Singh, government expect another difficult year. Government expects another difficult year ahead as it continues to assess the full extent of Trinidad and Tobago's financial obligation while trying to create room for economic recovery. Minister in the Ministry of Finance, Dr. Kennedy Charat Singh, said the administration anticipated that its first 2 years in office will be the most challenging, with the economy expected to begin recovering after that period. But he said the government is still working to determine the full extent of the country's indebtedness, including outstanding bills dating from 2016 to 24. I wish you would put all those bills on. I really wish you would. Charat Singh was speaking at a pre-budget consultation hosted by Caroni Central MP David Lee on Tuesday night at his political party office. Residents raised concern ranging from the condition of roads and drains to the completion of primary schools, repairs to pavilions, support for farmers, and social welfare. He said the financial pressures facing the government were affecting even basic infrastructure works, pointing to the country's widespread pothole problem as an example of projects for which funding had been difficult to find. These pressures were set to intensify as recently settled wage agreements following the government election campaign promise of 10% increase to trade unions last year began to take effect, add to recurrent expenditure. And to recurrent expenditure, he said, these pressures are set to intensify as recently settled wage agreements following the government's election campaign promise of 10% increase to trade unions last year begin to take effect and add to recurrent expenditure. Let me see how long this is because I intend to read this whole thing. Let me see which part I reach. Which part I reach, boy? Bank is speaking in central bank is financial difficult. Right. As we settle many of these wage negotiations, many of the new salaries are now kicking in for the monthly pay. What the monthly pay is getting it. And in the next fiscal year, some of the salaries for the daily paid that we have settled will have to start coming in. Of every dollar the government spends, 95 cents of every dollar goes into transfers, subsidies, salaries, pension, and debt repayment. So in other words, a small portion of that dollar remains available to government. The warning comes as the government prepares to present a 2027 budget with limited fiscal space and a growing list of existing commitments. Strassing said that the administration would have to manage these pressures while pursuing an economic rebound, suggesting that the room available for new spending remains narrow. Lee, meanwhile, said the financial position inherited by the government had been severe enough to raise the possibility of TNT seeking assistance from the International Monetary Fund. What's that? Lee, meanwhile, said the financial position inherited by the government had been severe enough to raise the possibility of TNT seeking assistance from the International Monetary Fund, the IMF. He credited negotiations undertaken by Prime Minister Kamala's predecessor and her administration over the past 18 months with keeping the country away from that position. Yeah, right. As a matter of fact, given the finances of this country, I don't want to say it, but if we did not manage it, as the Honorable Prime Minister said, and her team have been managing it, we might have ended up by the IMF. And I leave that there at this point in time. But we are not there. We are nowhere close to there because of the negotiations and what we have been doing over the last 18 months. And he went on and on and on and on and on and on and on. I just want to tell the Honorable Kennedy, Dr. Kennedy Saratsing, when you speak about debt being still outstanding from 2016 to 2024 under the previous PNM government, I wonder if you take into consideration that 2010 to 15, the PP government was in office. They had the highest oil prices ever, US, over $150, $120, $45 a barrel US. They had the highest oil prices, but when the PNM came in 2015, the latter part, we were told by the central bank governor, Jarala Rambaran, that the country is in a recession, 3 consecutive period of, what is the word they use as a word? 3 consecutive period of no growth in the economy, to that effect, right? We're in a recession. And then there was a 14% increase. Yes, it was the highest ever. We didn't like ourselves. Public officers got a 14% increase that was signed off by the PP government, Kamala Persad-Bissessar, and her PP government, that when the PNM came in 2015, meeting a recession, meeting the 14%, they didn't renege on it, they borrowed the money and paid that. And then coming out of that now, we had COVID-19 that shut down the whole world, shut down the whole economy. Public officers were non-essential workers. In the public service were at home, getting their salaries. Schools were closed, teachers were home getting their salary every month. We got that salary for about almost 2 years. People were getting supplies from the government, food hampers, money for rent and all that. Everybody may not have gotten, but that is what was happening. So when Dr. Saratsing speak about debts being left by the People's National Movement, he need to put more context to it. And not only that, when the Dr. Rowley and his government came in 2015, 16, and they're looking for money now to pay all these debts that was left behind by the PP government, UNC government, and he go to the oil companies and then they told him, hey, you got the memo, what we don't have to pay all in nothing until 2024. We could drill, baby drill until 2024. And the same Stuart Young and Dr. Rowley had to go and renegotiate those contracts with those transnational oil companies, BP, Shell, and all that. And that's how we was getting money in the kitty, right? So, Dr. Saratsing, with all due respect, so you need to put things in context when you speak about debts that were left by the People's National Movement. Because if I remember also clearly, this is what one of the PP government people would have said about the UNC. That is why people are so concerned with whatever money we will be getting from the gas deals that were negotiated and started under Franklin Tan, God rest his soul, Dr. Rowley and Stuart Young, that any money coming may not be properly dispersed and managed properly because of this.
In my whole 40 or 50 or 60 years, I had never heard so much corruption in one little island as I've heard in this country over the last debate. I can't understand why we have no more jail doors and just pack them in. There has been too much corruption. And every bit of corruption you and I are paying for today because the country is not in a position to deal with us as they ought to deal with us in the present conditions. People are stealing money as if they invented it. As if it's their right to thief.
Right, so I would like Dr. Kennedy Saratsing to be very, very conscious of that. And I also want him to go and read from Dr. Vishnu Bisram, where he said the failure of the Indians in government, in politics, is because of the fact that when they in office, it's not about good legislation or helping the masses, it's about kickback and contracts, cocktail parties, first-class travel, contracts to friends, family, and friends, and it's all about loyalty and things. So he needs to also take those things into consideration when he is having conversations. So let me continue. I saw this, usually there's pan down in Woodbrook and stuff, apparently. But before I go to the pan in Woodbrook, you all remember I would on Tuesday would have raised an issue that I saw out there of the lawyer who they put as the clip deco CEO or manager, whatever, and it was alleged that she is on fraud charges and all them kind of thing. I read it out. A nice, pretty lady, Indian lady, Indian girl, young girl, and I read it out here for you all. Apparently, I'm seeing this. I don't know how true this is. It says, so Plipdeco fired the manager they just hired, the one facing fraud charges. We did better background checks than their board. Well, it won't be the first time whoever is Source Nation, whatever, you remember Rishmi Ramna, right? They say she have all kind of degree and she was just a telephone operator. Nothing wrong with that, but she did not have the qualification to make her the head of our national security services. So it's not the first time, yeah? So let me continue. So as I was saying, right, it says here, with a heavy heart, pan on the avenue, 12 has been cancelled. That is what it says here. This is an announcement we never imagined having to make. 4 months, not FOUR, but FOR, 4 months, the Woodbrook St. James Community Association has fought tirelessly to bring pan on the avenue 12, a gift to the nation, to life. We wrote proposals, attended meetings, approached ministries and corporate partners, and revised budget, rebuilt plans, and redo the route countless times. Every time the door closed, we search for another. But determination alone cannot pay our steel pans, secure our roadways, or provide the sound, lighting barriers and essential infrastructure needed to safely execute an event of this magnitude. Despite exhausting every avenue available to us, too many critical pieces remain unfunded and unconfirmed. We therefore have no choice at this time but to announce the cancellation of pan on the avenue 12. We sincerely thank the Ministry of Rural Development and Local Government for its endorsement and efforts to assist us, and our loyal supporters and partners, Bermuda Sunshine, Blue Waters, Automotive Supplies Company, Simon Musical Supplies, and Sachiko, along with everyone who contributed, offered assistance, or continue to believe in us. But we want to make one thing very clear. The door is not completely closed. It is essential, it is necessary, if the necessary support comes forward now from government, corporate Trinidad and Tobago, or those willing to help us bridge the remaining gaps, we are prepared to return to the table and make pan on the Avenue 12 happen. Our plans are ready, our people are ready. We simply need the support to safely bring the gift to the nation to the Avenue. Pan on the Avenue was a vision of our founder and late councillor, Cleveland Garcia, a vision of steel pan bringing generation communities and a nation together. We have not stopped believing in that vision. We are simply at a point where we cannot carry it alone. If Trinidad and Tobago still wants its gift to the nation, there is still time to help us deliver it. Respectfully yours, Ayana Garcia, Chairman, Woodbrook St. James Community. And this here is a post I saw. And on the avenue, we are seeking corporate support. And they tell you the cash contributions and they tell you where you can make those contributions. I hope that it comes off, but I just want to say, seeing that NGC would have stopped sponsorship for several steel pans, stopped track and field sponsorship. They didn't have this year, they stopped the day before the primary school track and field championship, what happened, they stopped that. Everywhere you spin wrong, anyway it had thing with people, mostly of African descent are part of, they stop everything. They stop my lot, they stop my parts, DCC, they stop URP, they stop CPEP, everything. So I guess probably because pan is quote unquote a black thing, an African thing, which really is not true. But in terms of the creativity and creating it and everything, yes, it is. However, it has transcended that, and it is globally and accepted all over the world. We even have what you call it, the August the 11th as World Steel Pan Day. So it has gone beyond, but of course the inventors, creators and all that are people of African descent. So I'm saying all this to say, me a surprise that they're having challenges to bring off this, but I hope that they are able to. So let me move on. Give me a minute, let me get this article. I'm trying to open this article here. Give me a minute. I can't get, but what is this? Gesso? Let me try and open it one more time. And if I open it, if I get it open, I will just see. Me see, right? So the article is about, I don't know when again it open. The article is about, okay, I need to get it open. It is Salor Kojo saying that he's going to have just now. I don't know why. You can see. Salor Kojo. C-O-D-J. Oh, shucks. Give me a minute, Olga. C-O-D. E. Ugh. E. Just a minute. Yeah. And B-A-I-N-M-E-N-T. Right. So I'll get it another way. This was today in the Daily Express. Kojo defends East Indian Acts at events. The criticism over East Indian Acts being included in this year's University of Trinidad and Tobago African Emancipation Day program has not perturbed UTT Executive Chairman of the Board of Governors, Professor Selwyn Kojo. He said yesterday that it will be done again next year. Kojo said the function of a university was to educate, liberate, and free the mind. He was speaking to reporters following the funeral of artist and writer Woody Chen on the compound of the Pro Cathedral of Our Lady of Perpetual Help in San Fernando. In the lead up to African Emancipation Day, the UTT hosted Uhuru, celebrating freedom of the National Academy for the Performing Arts in Port of Spain. Kojo said it was a sold-out event. It included acts by Patrice Engelbert, the Onilu brothers, Dr. Edward Cumberbatch and Nkosi Waldron, and also featured East Indian music and dance performances by the Shanti School of Music and Susan Mohib. I'm not going to read anymore. This man don't deserve me reading anymore. From the time you speak about African Emancipation Day, and African Emancipation Day is unique to people of African descent because it had to do with enslavement and chattel slavery and the horrors of over 400 years of being held against your will, raped, mutilated, lynched, beaten, rape, kidnap, torture. That didn't happen to any other race and under those conditions. Other races came as indentured laborers, and we know the history of that. So if you're having a celebration to celebrate something that's unique to us as African people, I don't understand why you have Indian entertainment or anything of Indian descent culture. You're not at it. But I'll go a little further. So if that is your conversation, I expect to see at Indian Arrival Day that you have lots of African drumming, music, dance, and culture. I also wanted to go a little further. For Diwali, I want you to have, because it's about education, you said, I want you to have at UTT on Diwali or Eid al-Fitr, I want you to have African drumming, music, culture in the arts, because of course it's a university and it is one way shared education. I hope to see that happening. But I will tell you something, sir. Why you to me is a Toby. Just listen to this. The love that you have may not be so what do you call it? Okay. I ain't using a big word today. Like if I was use big word. It is not, it may not be returned or returning to you may feel so. However, I hope that it is not. But I'm going to play something that tells me if you feel you are held in such high esteem and the things that you're doing is to be in their favor and you feel that alone will work as African man, because you didn't know you went to Satmara's funeral, God rest his soul, and likened him to Dr. Martin Luther King. You could have likened him to several Indian freedom fighters, Mahatma Gandhi, so much of they didn't do that. Again, always looking for crumbs at the table. And this is what deceased Satmaras thought of you.
While you have not built a fall club in Trinidad and Tobago to educate the people, we have 70 schools across the country. We have 175 mandirs. We have 250 pundits. We have 1,000 staff in our school system. Yeah. Can you say that you and your group have ever done anything to improve your community?
I must congratulate you about that. But
yeah, no, I must despise you. I must despise you for not building a folk for the African community.
No, I want to answer that. I want to answer that because it's a very fallacious argument. He's the head of a religious organization. Long before Sat was born, there were Hindus here, and they had their mandis. Sat is the continuation of a tradition. I am not a religious leader. I'm not the head of the Catholics.
You're not nothing because you haven't built a school.
And so
you're a professor.
Precisely because I'm nothing, I cannot build a school. Even though we've had a school. But the point is, what you take credit for is part of a tradition of which you've been born into.
Professor, what were you born into? You were born into Eric Williams.
Yeah? Listen to man, the most they could watch them and just not even have pity, no? Just watch them like Now I tell you, not everybody of we ethnic group is a part of we tribe. He definitely not a part of my tribe. Definitely not. Oh God, let me remove that there. Hey, where are you? The man tell her the head of the religious organization for the Hindus in this country, who the Prime Minister told us when Sat speak, he speaks for them. Tell you he despise you. You never build nothing for African people, he despise you. And today, you're talking about for African emancipation, the next year you bring him back Indian culture and dance and look, Selwyn Kojo. I'm going to continue. This is what's happening around the savannah, as a video was done by Mr. Gregory Abu.
I'm here in the Queen's Park Savannah, and I'm just looking at this here. This major earthquakes. What are they doing here? Is this to be removed? Is this temporary? The Honorable Philip Edward Alexander stated, "From what I have been told, the works are temporary." From what he has been told, who then is responsible? Where are the plans? What materials are being used? Oil sand? Toxic oil sand to leach into the water table? And what is the cost? And who authorized the work? Does it have town country approval, EMA approval? Is there any heritage assessment? This is a 230-acre parcel of land that is owned by the people of Trinidad and Tobago. The Queen's Park Savannah does not belong to this government, the government before it, the government after it. Politicians come and go. You don't own our country. The savannah outlives you. It belongs to generations that came before us, who suffered in slavery in those same estates, and generations after, who are yet to come. It belongs to us, all of us. And more importantly, it belongs to the unborn Trinidadians and Tobagonians, and they should know our history. We are not the owners, we are the custodians. And when you come into office and decide, whip whap, you're going to spend $10 million on pave paradise and put up a car parking lot, we say no. No, no, no. It's not yours. It's illegal. You're using military men to commit an illegality against the people of Trinidad and Tobago. We will remember millions of dollars spent and wasted. We will remember while so many people are hungry. My God help us. Dear God.
And then I saw PCOTO would have put an article, a little article. This was the constituents attempting to leave Cascade, St. Anne's and Belmont face chaotic gridlock traffic this morning with the UNC's government disastrous plan to move the Independence Day parade to opposite the President's house. And to that chaos, the destruction of our beloved savannah with the paving, etc. The Cabinet Officer Bissess and the UNC ensure that the savannah important aquifers are not being polluted by the paving material and their dangerous chemicals which seep into the ground. Who is winning? In continued service, Stuart Arion, SCMP. So we might get water polluted because of whatever chemicals leaking, then the steel plant coming, if no proper oversight and thing could end up with a problem. AI center billing, that taking water where we don't have already. Drought and listen. Who winning? You must be whining, but who winning? Let me continue. So I saw MP Dominic Romaine at the opening of a refurbished, I think, town hall or something in Arima, Can't remember which one it is. And I'm also happy to see him. He is not the MP for Rima, but he's the MP of an adjacent or adjoining constituency. I think it's now Malabar Umira. I think so. And he would have spoken. Now, my question was, listening to him and whatever, he was really good and things, so I'll play it now for you all. Who is the MP of Arima? If I just asked him because, you know, people don't like you to question the opposition leadership above reproach. The last time I checked, the opposition leader and political leader, the political leader of the PNM and opposition leader of Trinidad and Tobago is the MP for Arima. She won that seat with just a little over 500 votes. An unknown who the UNC put up, he didn't even campaign, almost took the seat from the PNM. And I would think if you're having such a major thing in the at least I didn't see her. So if she was there, my apologies. But I saw Dominic was there and he spoke. If the Honorable MP for Arima was there, I didn't see any speeches done by her. So in the 5K, and we spoke about that on Tuesday and all that. So let me just play this from Dominic Romena. Again, I'm saying, if she was there at the opening of that and she spoke, my humblest apologies, but I didn't see it anywhere. So I can't go with what I see and say I see, right? But I saw Dominic Romain. So take a listen. You know, that is my do-do.
Alderman Baliram Maharaj, Mayor of Arima, the citizen of Arima. In her absence, the Honorable Khadija Amin, MP, Minister of Rural Development and Local Government. The Honorable Penelope Beckles Robinson, Member of Parliament for the great constituency of Arima, Leader of the Opposition. Members of the Diplomatic Corps, your bishops, mayors, chairmen of regional corporations, Mr. Peter Mitchell and Mr. Stephen Boudram, acting permanent secretaries, Ministry of Rural Development and Local Government, other senior government officials, Ms. Georgiana McFarlane, Chief Executive Officer of the Arima Borough Corporation, and other specially invited guests. Good morning. Finally, at last, long overdue. And I'm sure these are some sentiments that many of you sitting here and others would have expressed when you would have got the news that finally we were going to open this building and have today's ceremony. And I can tell you, I was simply one of those who was very elated when I would have received that invitation. Because as Deputy Mayor Truman Roberts, Councillor Dave Maraj, Councillor Joycelyn Worrell and others would tell you that since I became a Member of Parliament for Malabar Mount, and even before that, when I was selected as the standard bearer to contest the election for that particular seat, I have been inquiring about the status of this particular project. And the choice of today's date to have this ceremony bears another bit of significance that has so far gone unmentioned. Today would have marked the 50th birthday of a former mayor, a former councillor of the Arima Borough Corporation, and my predecessor, the late Issa Julia. And so it is of particular significance because, given the fact that it would have taken some 7 years to complete this project, it means that most likely this restoration project would have started under her stewardship. So it is particularly fitting that today this is taking place. So I don't know if that decision of this date was deliberate or whether it was by happenstance, but thank you so much to the Arima Borough Corporation for this significant tribute to the late Issa Julia. Now, P.S. Mitchell mentioned that it took 7 years to complete this project. And while that timeline may provide fodder for, newspaper headlines that may be a bit controversial, and might provide opportunity for blame, nothing happens before it's done. And in fact, in the Bible, the number 7 represents completeness, perfection, and divine order. It signifies that something is finished, whole, or filled to its capacity by God. And I'm sure you would agree with me that 7 acts of holy seed of God's work and total fulfillment from Scripture.
What?
So 7 years was good. If we want the best, sometimes that takes time. Now, why my endearment to this particular building, and why I would have been inquiring so many times of councillors as to when it would be completed? Because this is one of the many buildings that would have marked the infrastructural landscape that defined the arena of my childhood. I remember many years when I attended Arima West Government Primary School, and even in my secondary school years, passing by this building on my way to the post office to collect the household mail, to collect my grandmother's pension check. And I would look at this building, this imposing building, and wonder what it looked like on the inside. And it is not lost on me that a lot of the buildings, the other edifices that would have marked the Arima landscape during my formative years, a lot of them are no longer around. I recall the old magistrate court. I was just on the corner around there where the dragon is today. And that one time when I was in primary school, heading to the library, which was then upstairs, what is now Teacher's Chicken, and seeing the court in session, and I tried to get in to sit in, and I remember the magistrate chasing me away. Right? But that building is no longer there. It was opposite what was then Telco. I recall all of the coin phones that lined the wall just outside the Windsor Cinema. The merry-go-round and the steel slide that existed where the Arima Community Center now sits. So there's a lot that is no longer on the landscape, and so I'm very happy to know that this particular building went the way of restoration and not demolition. Because at 100+ years old, it could easily have gone that way. So today is a very special day, not just for the constituency of Arima, but also the constituency of Malabar Morsika, which I have the pleasure of representing. Woo! Because as I pointed out at the Thanksgiving service a couple of weekends ago, the constituency of Malabar Morsika is represented by 5 of the 7 councillors who sit on the Arima Borough Corporation. So the constituency of Malabar Morsika has significant shareholding in this building. So we know that the deliberations and the decisions that will be made in this building henceforth certainly will redound to the benefit of thousands of my constituents and the Burgesses of Malabar Morsika. So I look forward to the opportunity to be able to finally see the inside of this building, something that I've longed to do for many, many years. And again, thank you all so much for the opportunity to bring greetings on behalf of my constituents and shareholders in this building. So enjoy the rest of the morning's proceedings. Thank you so much.
Right, so the constituencies, we know say Malabar Morsika. Yeah, I think that's what he said. And again, I saw somebody tell me that the political leader and opposition leader was there. So that's what I said. I wasn't sure. But did she speak? I don't know. So if somebody have part of what her speech or anything, they're free to send it to me. I will play it. However, when it comes to the mayor of Arima, from what I was hearing and seeing, and I would have said it before, his tenure was up, I think, last September, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm going to paraphrase Ting, like when they ask, well, why he's still there, whatever, it is alleged that the current opposition leader, here the word I use, alleged, current opposition leader, political leader, said something to the effect, she's not the one that put him there, right, or something so. But then we hear in a history of Mr. Baliram Raj, yes, he is a successful businessman in the Arima area. In fact, when we were the first set of people, not just me and my mom alone, but the first set of people that went to live in La Hoqueta, we were part of that. And La Hoqueta didn't have like stores and that at that time, whatever. So we had to do everything in Arima and West Side Supermarket. I think that's in the way. That is where we used to go. Mr. Baliram Day and Ting, you know, really generous and thing to the people of Arima. So I ain't gonna take that from him. I talking political thing, you know. I know last year they said that he don't go to anything that the corporation is having, his councils having, he don't go. And they said that there was some Christmas function that they were having at that corporation, and he didn't go, but he went to a UNC black tie event. Excuse me, he would have said something to the effect that since his wife died, he has a nephew who would have taken him out and stuff, and he never invited him, and he didn't know he's there, he was going on all kind of thing and all kind of thing. And he has been seen fraternizing and that kind of thing and that kind of thing. So people are wondering, well, okay, so why he's still the mayor? There was some speculation he wanted his name to go on the plaque at that new building, but I think the name that going on that plaque, I think, is, if I'm not mistaken, Lisa Morris Julian. So that is a real Julian thing, and people would find that the opposition leader, political leader, not really making any tough decisions, but home girl could party and line. You see that? Could line, could party, a good person if you want to hang and line with and thing, but politically, me have seen that. However, as I said again, with that Arima thing, if she was there, somebody tell me my apologies, I thought she was not, and if she spoke, I would have liked to hear what she would have said, right? So, we continues. So this is the opposition leader liking herself as span and powder, you know it go. Yeah, so when I come to party, we in that. So by now you all know the situation down in San Fernando East. But before I get to that, let me just pay tribute to. I saw Mrs. Manning also had her Earth Strong sometime this month. Happy is strong, Mrs. Hazel Manning. And I saw this in Panax 3, the global community, and this is what it says. Patrick Augustus Moving Manning, 17th of August, 1964. So this was the month of his birth, and died the 2nd of July, 2016. Former Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, 1991 to 95, and 2001 to 2010. Prime Minister Patrick Manning was born in San Fernando, Trinidad, and received his secondary education at Presentation College, San Fernando, and his bachelor's degree from the University of the West Indies at Mona in 1969. After graduation, he returned to Trinidad, where he worked as a geologist for Texaco until he ran for Parliament in 1971. Between 1971 and 1978, he served as parliamentary secretary in various ministries before being appointed junior minister in the Ministry of Finance in the government of Eric Williams, Dr. Eric Williams. In 1979, he was given the additional position of junior minister in the office of the Prime Minister. In 1981, he was given a full cabinet position of Minister of Information and Minister of Industry and Commerce and Minister of Energy and National Resources between 1981 and 1986. The 1986 general election saw the ruling PNM suffer an almost total defeat. As one of the 3 successful PNM candidates, Manning was appointed leader of the opposition, and in 1987, he was elected political leader of the PNM, the youngest the party has seen at only 40 years old. So let me read that part. In 1986 general election saw the ruling PNM suffer an almost total defeat. As one of the 3 successful PNM candidates, Manning was appointed leader of the opposition. That was in 1986. Manning was appointed leader of the opposition, and in 1987, he was elected political leader of the PNM. So is it that when he was appointed leader of the opposition, he was not the political leader of the PNM, but when he came political leader the year after, I'm just asking, he was elected political leader of the PNM, the youngest the party has ever seen at only 40 years old. By 1991, Manin led the PNM to victory and became the country's fourth prime minister. Just 4 years later, lost to the United National Congress and National Alliance for Reconstruction, NAR coalition in 1995. After a series of general elections between 2000 and 2002, Manin returned as prime minister with 20 seats to the PNM and 16 for the UNC, and formed a new government, a post he would hold until 2010, when the PNM lost the elections to the People's Partnership, that UNC, COP, TOP, NJAC, MSJ. Following the defeat, Manin officially resigned as political leader of the PNM on the 27th of May 2010, but remained as the parliamentary representative for the constituency of San Fernando East. On the 23rd of January 2012, Patrick Manin suffered a stroke and by 2016 was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia. He passed away on the 2nd of July 2016 at the San Fernando General Hospital at age 69. So that is a picture of him and Miss Hazel when they got married, and a picture of our endearing and how we remember him in life. Thanks for your service, sir. So now his son, Brian Manning, would have entered the politics and would have contested the same seat as his dad in 20. Was he an MP in 2020? That's not why I had that on right, you know. Anyway, in 2025, he was re-elected. Yes, 2020, I think. Because if he's the only, right, I think he became first the MP in 2020. If I'm mistaken, correct me, all the peoples. And 2025 again, he was, yes, Jen, because Chambers was, you see? So when they're talking about they can't have political leader one person and an opposition leader one person, yes, come now, thanks Cheryl and Henry. Well, you play with people, play with my peoples and them up and listen, they're up to date, you know. So as I was saying, he, in 2025, is the only MP to retain his seat down in San Fernando. So there has been some activity. So I'm seeing this, People's National Movement, PNM, blah, blah, blah. For immediate release, in 19 August 2026. A call for transparency and independent oversight in San Fernando East is stated by the Honorable Brian Manning, Member of Parliament for San Fernando East. To the people and party members of San Fernando East, as your Member of Parliament, I'm compelled to speak plainly about a matter of integrity that has caused deep concern amongst the membership of our constituency. Over the past several months, in consultation after consultation, following last year's general election, our members have raised with me a series of troubling questions about governance within the San Fernando East Constituency Executive. I have brought these concerns formally and in writing to the party's General Council. Today, they have not been addressed in a way that assures our members they will be examined independently and fairly. At the center of these concerns is an apparent conflict of interest. The chairman of our San Fernando East constituency, Ms. Patricia Alexis, at the same time holds senior national office within the party as Assistant General Secretary, is also a representative of San Fernando East on the General Council and a member of the Central Executive. Many of our members have said that they believe this mirrored roles compromises the impartiality of decision-making whenever constituency matters are elevated to the national level, and that the interests of San Fernando East may not be fairly represented as a result. Our members have also raised questions about a recent constituency executive election, in which an announced vacancy was reportedly filled by someone unfamiliar to many long-standing members and allegedly connected to the constituency chairman. Members have described this process as lacking in transparency and proper constitutional procedure. More broadly, I have experienced a growing unease amongst our membership about the perceived and unexplained affluence of certain members of the constituency executive, a perception that, left unaddressed, continues to erode the trust and confidence that hold our party together. The media has reported that Ms. Alexis was able to obtain millions of dollars in CPEP contracts from the Ministry of Rural Development and Local Government while being an employee, chairman of the Rural Development Company. Constituents would like to know what is the party's leadership view on this concerning matter. So the media has reported, so it's the media who reported that Ms. Alexis was able to obtain millions of dollars in CPEP contracts on the Ministry of Rural Development. Okay, so it was the media who did, okay, right. Let me be very clear. I make no accusation of guilt against any individual, including Ms. Alexis. These are serious concerns raised in good faith by loyal members of our party. And what I'm asking for is simple: transparency, accountability, and a process our members can trust. In that spirit, I asked that the committee appointed to verify the party groups in San Fernando East to include one independent member from outside the central executive, so that the exercise would be and would be seen to be impartial. In fairness, I offered Ms. Alexis the very same opportunity. That request was declined. The General Council has instead insisted that my nominee to be chosen only from among the members of the Central Executive, the very body on which Ms. Alexis serves as a senior officer. I cannot in good conscience accept that this arrangement inspires confidence. You cannot ask members to have faith in an inquiry when those closest to the concerns sit in judgment of it. To my mind, it reflects a reluctance to allow these matters to be examined by a genuinely impartial hand. I have given much of my life, as my family has, to the People's National Movement, and I say this as one who loves the party. Our strength has always rested on our commitment to integrity, fairness, and service to the people. I call on the party's leadership to give the people of San Fernando East the clarity and reassurance they deserve without further delay. To the people of San Fernando East, I hear you, I stand with you, and I will continue to defend the integrity of our party and your interests with everything I have. I remain fully committed to due process and to fairness for all, but I will not be silent when the confidence of our members is allowed to erode. Yours in service, Brian Manning, Member of Parliament, San Fernando East. I want to say one or two things quickly. The Member of Parliament in a constituency is the ex officio of that constituency. They can be involved in the party groups, election, constituency, women's league, all that. They do not have a vote. But as the MP of the constituency, they can be involved in terms of finding out what's happening, asking questions, and if people have issues, they can resolve it, all that. They can do all that, right? Because they are the MP, Member of Parliament, people voted for them. But they do not have a voting right in party groups or in executive, constituency executive, AGMs, or women's league AGM, and that kind of thing, right? So let me put that in. The next thing is, I understand it is alleged that the constituency executive had a meeting to bring forward a no confidence motion in the Member of Parliament, Brian Manning. Now, if it's true, I don't understand how you could do that, because the only people could remove Mr. Manning as MP is people who vote for him. No constituency have that power to remove a Member of Parliament. Wherever confidence you bring in, you can't remove a member of parliament. Member of parliament, people voted for that individual, so that's true. The next thing is that I'm hearing that people are saying that Brand Manning, MP Manning is wrong for bringing this in the open. So let me just go to PSA quickly, because PSA constitution is just like the PNM constitution, right? If you have issues, grievances, there are processes within the organization to treat it. It tells you who to write to, how to write this, whatever. And if you have exhausted all those internal processes and you haven't gotten a response back from any of them, then the only logical thing you have left to do is bring it outside, hoping that it will get the attention that it's not getting when you bring it internally. So Mr. Manning has written to all the relevant area general counsel, Central X, this one, that one, political leader, general secretary, whoever, and he has not gotten a response when he followed the processes of the PNM constitution, which I have one here. Then the only thing left to get any redress is security in the open. Mrs. Jennifer Baptiste Primus came out of a general council meeting and brought PNM business out on the road. We have another one, Robert LeHunt, who was very vocal outside in PNM business, chastising Dr. Rowley, arrogant, he this, and all kind of things they were doing. And he has been, in my opinion, elevated to the position of treasurer of the PNM on the Central X. And Mr. Jennifer Baptiste Primus has been elevated to the position of deputy political leader in charge of the election affairs and all that. So I'm saying all this to say, so why the heavy hand for Mr. Manning, who after trying all the processes, not getting any attention, not getting anybody listening to his queries on behalf of his constituents, which is his right to do, as he's the ex officio of the constituency. He bring it outside. Why people saying he wrong for doing that? What is he to do? What really is he to do in that situation when nobody's listening? But why he wasn't listening when he went about the way that is stated and set out in the constitution of the PNM? Same thing with PSA. We end up on the road protesting because all our letters and pleas and whatever to general counsel, to contempt, nobody was listening. And if you can't talk inside your organization and get any redress and fight it out there or cuss it out there, walk it out there, then you have to come on the street. That's just how it is. So coming from that also, Mr. Ashton Ford, who is a stalwart of the People's National Movement and was a general secretary, he served also as ambassador and at different levels within the People's National Movement, would have had a phone interview on I-95.5, and he also would have wrote an article, right? This is some of the things he raised, right? I've taken this from I-95.5. An alarm is raised by a former executive general secretary of the opposition People's National Movement. Ashton Ford says the party he dedicated more than 50 years to is heading down the wrong road under the leadership of Penelope Beckers. Mr. Ford feels that what is happening in the San Fernando East constituency of the party is an indication that disaster looms. MP Brand Manning has complained constituency members are concerned about the many roles being played by Chairman Patricia Alexis. Mr. Manning has written to the party calling for an intervention. Yesterday on the morning show on I-95.5, Ashton Ford said there are attempts being made to remove MP Manning. Mr. Ford also said certain constituency elections are being cancelled and political leader Penelope Beckers remains silent. PNM Chairman Marvin Gonzalez assures the San Fernando East issue is being managed by the leadership of the party and supporters and supported by the General Council. He says the executive will continue to work with both parties to address the issues. MP Gonzalez was speaking with News Center 5 yesterday. I want to ask the Honorable MP Gonzalez, who is the chairman of the People's National Movement, also the chief whip in Parliament. He does a good job. I want to ask him, when Mr. Ashton Ford had spoken on before and you all made a commitment to meet with him to treat the matter, have you ever met and treated with the issues that you were having and the complaints you were having? Have you ever met with Mr. Ashton Ford? And for those now who that so love the MP, Mr. Manning, I know you don't listen to my show. Me, you know, Big Papi, and me, you know, I know Hot Show. My show have a little crew, and we happy with that. We don't have 700 and 800 people and all that. So you mightn't be listening. Let me tell you, you have to watch some of them who love me MP and here's me MP. You have to watch some of them because they're not defending you. They're not defending you. All who wanted it to come on the show and talk a financial thing and advice and call me MP, them people ain't standing up with you now. So as I was saying, I have seen where organizations, when they do not listen to its members and the members using the processes of the organization through the constitution, whatever runs the organization, that what people end up doing, unfortunately, they doesn't have a choice. They just come on the street. So what Mr. Manning has done, I can't fault him for that. And now to hear people talking about Mr. Ashton Ford, how he disrespectful and old people and all them things. Let me tell you something. MP Marvin Gonzalez, I want you to answer me this asking questions. Before the election and thing up in your constituents, right? I have gone look, you know. Did you say in front of any of the elders and them, I'm paraphrasing because I don't know, I wasn't standing there, but I spoke to somebody who was there. Did you tell them that you want to, I pin it my way, old people? Wrong, yeah? You only want young people. Because I find a little bit talking about the elders within the PNM in this kind of derogatory kind of way as they must move over. Let me tell you something. The woman who make all you, they all know that all the disrespect or their mother, or their father, or their grandfather, grandmother, because the elders at the end of the day, they're not perfect. And I'm not saying elders should disrespect the young ones. Respect must be on two sides. However, but it's blatant trying to call out Ashton Ford like he old. Miss Dr. Marlene Gordon, she old. All they want to old people wrong. All they, I find that is disrespectful. All they want Auntie Joan wrong, all they neither. That was disrespectful. So it's only young people alone go build back. You must have a mix here. Yes, the young people are the future, but they must be guided by something. All of us go and study in all kind of university and law and all that. And there's one set of old people who died years ago. All of us be following the theories, reading the theories. All they have respect for them. But people who live in a space, who have the knowledge and things, all they have no respect for them. But all they just go and study law and all kind of theory and all kind of case from way back when we didn't even born and thought of being born and all that. All they just follow them theories and them. All they find all they mix up. So I was continuing with the thing I was saying. So I want to ask you, MP Gonzalez, because it's important to know. Yes, a person I see trying and thing, but I want to ask you this. Again, did you tell some elders in your constituency you don't want old people around you? You only want young people. And I want to ask you this. The 200 and something votes where you win by, I want to ask you if it's the elders who you rejected, if it's them at the last minute now when they see like things ain't going thing, had to go and pull everybody out, all the old people. Had to pull out all the old people to make sure they go and vote. So the point I'm making, All of those discount and disrespect, because the old people, whether it's 3 votes, could make you win, or 100 votes could make you win. All them must have respect also. So this situation, Mr. Manning, to me, I'm saying, is unfortunate. He had to come on the outside. But if you try everything inside, you're not getting, you have to come outside. That's how it does go, right? They should have dealt with it inside. And this conversation that Mr. Ford said they want to remove Mr. Manning, we hear the same conversation in Trin-City, Maloney. We hear the same conversation for where MP Romaine is. I was always forget his Malabar Mousik, I think. They say they want to remove them. Well, we know Miss Camille Robinson, she said 2030, she's not going back. So they're looking to put somebody and all the back, and that's what it's about. So I'm saying at the end of the day, all they really love this PNM, all they love what they could get from the PNM. All they love this country that we see going down and keep going down. I want the best PNM to come back, all they just don't care. All they comfortable with opposition. I'm just asking a question. Because I don't know how all of a sudden it has no love for Mr. Manning. I don't understand how all of a sudden it has no love for Miss Camille Robinson Regis. What is that about? And I don't understand how the goodly lady could be on so much different committees. That is conflict of interest. You can't be on the executive Central X. You can't be on the constituency, and then you're in this. And that is too much. That means to say you will have to recruit. You know the word recruit, which is a very ethical thing to do. You will have to recruit yourself from plenty things. You can't be involved in no investigation and involved in this. You'll have to recruit yourself. You're on too much things. So it ain't nobody else to do the things you're doing. You're so unique. I just asking me, because me and you're Miss Lady. But you have to be real unique. You have to be very, very extraordinary, that there's nobody else to do the functions that you're doing, just you alone. And all this bacchanal and confusion is your name coming in the middle. I don't know. So I want to ask, my people meter poll is going to come from that. And my people meter poll question is, was San Fernando East MP, based on all that I just said, was San Fernando East MP Brian Manning wrong to air PNM dirty laundry in public? Number 1, just type 1 if you said yes, he was wrong. And number 2 if you say no, he was wrong. So listen again, because this time the answer is going to be different. Based on all that I said there and what all you know and feel you know and whatever, was San Fernando East MP Brian Manning wrong to air PNM dirty laundry in public? If you say yes, he wrong, type number 1, yes, he wrong, or type number 2 to say he wasn't wrong, and 3 if he abstaining. While all you voting, let me play the word of the day. Where the word of the day? Let me play the word of the day. Just now, let me take down this picture and let me play the word of the day.
Today's word is brought to you by the letter E.
Ephemeral. Lasting for a very short time. Ephemeral.
Right? Ephemeral, lasting for a very short time. So, people, voting is over. And let me tell you the results. My people, again, the question was San Fernando East MP Brian Manning wrong to air PNM dirty laundry in public? And I will tell you, the no's have it. Not the NOSE, but the NO. So 100% of my online viewers, we have 254 persons I'm seeing on YouTube. I'm not sure with Facebook. What happened with Facebook, because I'm not streaming directly from Facebook. I understand Facebook doesn't like no other no other platform to stream. So the numbers will never be a big among the numbers. They wouldn't be right. So that's why I say love to my Facebook people, because you all stay with me no matter what. So 100% agreed with Mr. Manning. Basically, he had no choice but to bring it out in the open. Yeah. So thank you all for taking part in Jenny's People Meter poll. So let me continue the continues. I'll bring him back something to all your attention. Listen to this. Or remember this.
What we have heard is a repetition of promises as to what the legislation does, but now the legislation is before the House, and it simply does not do 99% of what the member for Toko Sandy Grandi misled the population with here this afternoon. And I am putting the population on notice, because they may be fooled. He is a criminal law practitioner, or was, and now he is the Minister of Defense, holding a portfolio of authority to tell anybody that you can shoot a person in the back when their back is turned to you, and they are running away, and shoot them before they shoot you, but shoot them in their back, has to be one of the worst pieces of advice that can be given to any law-abiding citizen.
Yeah, you all remember that? When the Stand Your Ground legislation was being debated? You see, Ms. Olabasi say we will remember, and her words are so, was so effective. I know that woman was moved to say the thing she was doing. She didn't just say, get up and say, I'm going down there, and I'm going to say what I say. No, I think she was moved and inspired to say it, and it has become a catchphrase for everybody now. We will remember. Despite the fact there are persons who put a negative connotation, but don't always have that. Receipts. This is from Stuart Young, Member of Parliament for the Spinal Sentence West. And let me put up a picture here of what receipts he's talking about. I hope I had it. Lord Father, you know, I didn't save it. Anywho's. The restructuring of Atlantic LNG was the vision and policy of the PNM in 2018, and was set about a difficult and complex task of negotiating with BP and Shell for 5 years until its completion in December 2023. What we achieved with the restructuring of LNG was unprecedented globally. It had never been done anywhere else in the world up to that point in time. These reports from December 2023 records exactly what we said the benefits to Trinidad and Tobago will be back in 2023. Higher revenue for NGC and Trinidad and Tobago via higher gas prices, a new 10% shareholding across the whole of ALNG, where TNT had only had shareholding in trains 1 and 4 before, and importantly via NGC getting an increased number of LNG cargo to sell. Today in 2026, exactly as we intended and fought hard to achieve, Trinidad and Tobago is benefiting, especially via NGC, from increased revenues as a direct result of the work that we did and completed in December 2023. Do not be fooled by those who are in office now trying to mislead you and claim that increased revenues by NGC and the state from the energy sector are due to their policies or decisions. In fact, their actions are destroying the energy sector, as you have seen with the departure of Nutrien and Methanex. The gas prices were negotiated from 2019, and in LNG are why NGC and Trinidad and Tobago are earning higher revenues today as we peg our gas prices on Asian gas prices, European gas prices, and Brent oil prices. The Asian and European gas prices have been 10 times higher than the gas price we would have gotten if we did not negotiate these new prices. So that is what is responsible for NGC and Trinidad and Tobago higher revenues not the incompetence of those who are currently in charge. Lastly, I ask, why has NGC stopped supporting the wider development of our country by cancelling its sponsorship to national track and field, steel pan, and other nation-building initiatives? So the winning of higher and better revenues at NGC and in TNT lies here, as you can see in these receipts, in the PNM vision, hard work and achievement for all of Trinidad and Tobago in continued service. Stuart Ariong, SCMP, August the 20th, 2026. Let me just play this.
Success is not about luck, timing, or opportunity. It's about your approach to life, your mindset, and how you choose to think every single day. Success is a decision, a belief that no matter the obstacles, you will find a way to move forward. It's not about waiting for the perfect time or ideal circumstances. It's about acting now with the confidence that you can make things happen. Success is a journey, built step by step, choice by choice. Every day you push through adversity. Even when it feels like progress is slow, you are moving closer to your goal. Doubts, fatigue, and setbacks are part of the process.
Right? Like Stuart, I'm bringing some more receipts there. These things are important.
Have energy. Thank you very much. Mr. President, it may surprise those on the other side, including Senator Mark, to know that this government did engage in absolutely no sellout. This government, starting with the Energy Spotlight conference that was held in 2018, declared to the major shareholders of Atlantic LNG, BP and Shell, that we wanted an increase in value for the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. We then embarked on 5 very difficult and complex years of commercial negotiation, where we achieved not only better pricing, not singularly linked to Henry Hub, which today is at $1.71, whereas we are getting over $3, an increase of over 40% to 50%. We also got third-party access to gas and an additional shareholding for the people of Trinidad and Tobago, not for as much as a dinner mint, unlike what happened with NGC between the 2010 to 2015 period, where the UNC specifically chose constituencies which to use SIS to build recreational grounds, to build the Wheatham wastewater plant, to take $16 billion of cash for the people of Trinidad and Tobago out to fulfill their fantasies and their political ambitions, which led to a loss in 2015, where thankfully the people of Trinidad and Tobago returned sense and sensibility in a PNM government and are today deriving the...
Right? Listen to some more receipts.
Let me tell you some of the projects we negotiated. I negotiated on behalf of Trinidad and Tobago. 2016, De Novo Iguana Development, $250 million US. 2017, BP Angeline, $610 million US. 2018, BP Cassia Sea Compression Project, $350 million US. BP Matapal, $565 million US. 2019, BHP, when the former Prime Minister went, I was with him to Australia to ask BHP to do Ruby, Delaware, $500 million US. 2020, Shell Barracuda, $439 million US. Shell Colibri, $649 million US. De Novo Zandali, $52 million US. Touchstone onshore gas for the first time in decades. Cascadura, $76.4 million US. 2022 BP SIP project, $854 million US. EOG Osprey, $234 million US. 2023 EOG Mento, a project with BP, $555 million US. EOG Parula in 2023, $34.5 million US. 2023 EOG again, Oilbird, 41.85. 2024, the Manatee project, which is a historical project that would never have happened if we didn't do what we did with Venezuela and get them to agree. Shell, $2 billion US. EOG and BP are going to do coconut. They're developing the estimates. BP going to do ginger, 884 million. People of Trinidad and Tobago, as a direct result of negotiating on your behalf in the energy sector alone, between 2016 and 2025, we earned $8.1 billion US dollars, which is 57 billion TT dollars. That is how you earn revenue. You never heard us stand up and say, well, I have a plan, we go find the money. No, it's hard work. It's not drinking at night. It's not liming. It's hard work. It is working on behalf of Trinidad and Tobago. You measure whose record really shows by their actions and not their words. Who cares? Who cares about you? And who is fighting outside there to make sure we have free education, free healthcare, or police, or prisons, or nurses, or doctors. All our public servants are paid on time. It is the People's National Movement.
Right? Always in service of the people. I want to bring back this to you all here. Because you see, people could only speak on what they see, what they hear, unless somebody corrects it, right? And I continue to ask all those, because I hear somebody saying, we don't like the political leader. So just because you don't support the political leader, you don't like the political leader. But the same political leader wasn't supporting Dr. Rowley, so was it that she didn't like Dr. Rowley? The same Dr. Rowley, you bring her in from the wilderness and send her out in the UN and then bring she back, make she senator and all them things. So was it that she didn't like Dr. Rowley? Is it now them who talking against Dr. Rowley and was coming out in the open as Jennifer Baptiste premise? Is it that because they didn't like Dr. Rowley? I just asking because they always was talking, and the political leader will talk every time alluding to the fact that Dr. Rowley was arrogant and he didn't think. They may not have said the words, but they continue with that conversation, arrogant. And so is it they were saying that because they didn't like Dr. Rowley? You see, this way we just want to attach liking somebody with. My thing is this: do the work. You come for the work, you're getting big money for the work, you get the perks for the month, you're getting perks for thing, you go get pension after, blah, blah, blah. Do the work. You have nothing to do with what I like or ain't like. So this conversation they want to push out there, that we don't like the political leader just because we are saying we don't support her because she's politically weak. And everybody's seen that. The talk is no longer inside the PNM again. And trust me, them who talking, they know that, you know. But again, you have to ask, why the support? Is it a genuine support, or is it because they could get something? I don't know. Or is it because she's Sophie, and they could do what they want? I don't know. I just asking a question. But I know me, speaking about Mrs. Penelope Becker being politically weak, I don't just like the woman personally. I don't even know her like that. And I just don't watch people and just don't, I'm not like that. You have a work to do in the public space. If she was a private person, whatever, it ain't bother me. Whether she weak, she ain't weak, or it ain't bother me. But you're in a position in a party that is 70 years old, that people looking to, young people looking to wrestle back governance from this wicked, evil, racist, dictatorial, based on the actions UNC. So everybody want the best. And if you are not the best, not because we don't like you or because you're a woman and it's a long time so you should have been, because we are saying that in your professional space as a politician, you have done nothing that is of worth we could speak about. Because I continue to encourage the supporters of the opposition leader. I don't know how to say it again. I come like Mr. Brandman, you know. I know how to say this thing again, asking everybody. Send me the information, the evidence, the videos, whatever, to show or tell me what makes the current opposition leader and political leader the best thing for PNM at this time. And nobody has sent me anything. All they continue to say, if I continue to talk about her, they go put me in my place and who go cost me and whatever. All that is good for theater and people to see and people drag me, but me is not the leader of the PNM, and it's not I alone saying that. So again, as I was saying, everybody know who I support. I've never hidden that. That is not new. But I don't push who I support on nobody and say, no, you should support. I don't say them things. I just hardly mention Stuart Young or play the videos or whatever, but I don't tell people, well, he supports. I don't do that. Everybody big, they have sense, they could choose, and they choose like their business. Me, I'm saying, I don't think that Ms. Penelope Beckers is best suited for this task ahead. I'm not seeing it, and nobody is reassuring me, and we need to be reassured. The young people are fed up of what they've seen in the PNM, this continuous tugging, pulling, and it is not because of Jennifer Frederick why it had tugging and pulling. This executive of the PNM has shown by the action or lack of action like they're not interested in having a cohesive come together PNM. It had people that like Mr. Manning, people that like Dr. Rowley. And they used to have the hinging and the hoeing and the hinging and the hoeing. But when it come down to it, the two leaders, what's best for the country, best for the party, and everybody fall in line saying, okay, because Dr. Rowley had that leadership style. They didn't just fall in place because he's, well, if the PNM choose he and he's a PNM, we have to follow. No, I think people would have chosen Dr. Rowley and agreed, even though they were Mannonites, that Dr. Rowley has that leadership quality. It may not be the style of Mr. Manning, but he had his own style, could pull people, and he did pull people together. He pulled Emery Brown, he pulled same Penelope Beckers, he pulled all of them together, and PNM won the election in 2015. So you didn't have to like him, but he was able to do the job. I saw this video of Mrs. Beckers. Again, I've been searching for things where I hear her say she did this in the PNM and what policy. I may find nothing. But this is what I found. I found two videos I'll play for you.
Days after she was rejected by the PNM screening committee for the seat of Arima, Penelope Beckers says she is still in the dark as to whether it was a public praise of Kamla Persad-Bissess's rise to leadership of the UNC that worked against his selection as a PNM candidate. But Beckers hates to think that had anything to do with it. He did tell her that he wanted a younger candidate for the Arima seat.
What his position was, he said he wanted a youth candidate, and that was the person, that was a young person who had come through. She had been in the youth league chairman in Arima, and she had been the chairman of the national youth.
Sorry about that. Right, and I think that person she's speaking about is Laura Lee Lizama. If I'm not mistaken, that same Laura Lee Lizama, that's the one they call me as an old attack dog for Stuart Young. Them alone could disrespect you, but you can't tell them nothing. I just go roof, yeah, roof, yeah. I an old attack dog. I proud to be an old attack dog. At least I had an attack in front of my name. Yeah, she said that and whatever. I think she now is working in the office of the opposition leader. Good for her. I think she was also the education officer of the PNM on the Central X. Good for her. And it is alleged that when she was chosen as the candidate over Ms. Penelope Beckers, it is alleged that Ms. Beckers ran a campaign against Laura Lizama. I think her Laura Lizama campaign manager was one called George Hadid. And it is alleged she complained bitterly about what was happening and all that. And then after they had Anthony Garcia, it is alleged the same type of behavior and all that. If those things are not true, please send me the proper information. That's why I put alleged. Let me play you something else I found.
Because I vex when people want to try to discredit me. And I vex when they want to try and destroy my integrity that I build for all of these years by talking foolishness. I vex. As a matter of fact, I damn vex. They have people who are in the bowels of the UNC controlling the PNM. And financing the PNM.
Okay? You heard her there? She vexed because they want to think she character. But nobody mustn't vex when they want to think people character. And she's alleging that it have people in the bowels of the PNM who is UNC. Isn't that the same conversation the people supporting the opposition leader, political leader, is telling people who don't support her that we're being paid by the UNC? So is it that they're taking pattern from the leader? I just asked him. And in the first video I played is interesting. She said she don't know if the reason why she wasn't chosen, I'm paraphrasing, is because of her close association or praising Kamla Persad-Bissessar. But apparently she has a penchant of always praising Kamla Persad-Bissessar, because when it was for her inauguration speech, listen to her here again, and this is just last year, she again praised Ms. Kamla Persad-Bissessar. So it seemed to be some type of girl crush kind of vibes, you know, always had to big up the woman. So I don't know. So listen to her just last year, and I'll play back what she said. That was back in, I think that may have been the time with either Lisa Moran, Laura Lilizamba. I think it may be that time. So let me just play this now and show you. That's what I have, so I will play.
In this blessed twin island nation, land of the hummingbird and steel pan, opportunities for growth, development, and progress of all peoples must always be first, and most fundamental priority of those privileged to assume leadership roles, particularly in the political sphere. Before I continue, allow me to pause and first extend warm congratulations to the Honorable Prime Minister, Mrs. Kamla Persad-Bissessar, SC, on her second term in office. Madam Prime Minister, your leadership is historic, and today it carries even deeper meaning for me personally, as I stand here not only as leader of the opposition, but also as a former student once seated in your classroom. Your journey from educator to Prime Minister serves as a profound reminder that our nation remains a land of possibilities. My journey from Bodnaf village in South Trinidad and Tobago without electricity and running water to become the first female opposition leader of the People's National Movement. Is a story that I hope inspires.
All right? That was her last year. So listen to what she said again in this. So it seemed to be a pattern of behavior. I don't know. But they want you to talk about them things. They just want you to just support her, and whatever happened, happened. But they didn't just support Dr. Oli, and whatever happened, happened. They used to come out and talk and get on and he this and he arrogant, you know, listen. I don't know. Listen to her here.
Days after she was rejected by the PNM screening committee for the seat of Arima, Penelope Beckel says she is still in the dark as to whether it was a public praise of Kamla Persad-Bissessar's rise to leadership of the UNC that worked against his selection as a PNM candidate. But Beckel hates to think that had anything to do with it. He did tell her that he wanted a younger candidate for the Arima seat.
What his position was, he said he wanted a youth candidate, and that was the person, that was a young person who had come through. She had been in the youth league chairman in Arima, and she had been the chairman of the National Youth.
Okay, well, wait a think. Let me play one more where she vexed and saying it are people in the bowels of the PNM who are being paid by the UNC.
Because I vex when people want to try to discredit me. And I vex when they want to try and destroy my integrity that I built for all of these years by talking foolishness. I vex. As a matter of fact, I damn vex. They have people who are in the bowels of the UNC controlling the PNM. and financing the PNM.
Papa Laps, and it's not the same PNM that you want to, that you're leading now. Is opposition leader and proud to be the first. You see, only contradicting conversation does really have people puzzled and confused. Back then you're vexed because the Ting and people in the UNC, in the bowels of the PNM and getting paid and da. But at the same PNM, you're fighting tooth and nail to hold on to and not doing the political work. So, and every time you spin around, you're praising the prime minister in this country. I don't get it. I don't get it. But people, I continue to ask the supporters of the opposition leader, send me articles, anything I'm searching, I'm looking, I'm finding nothing, send me videos, whatever. I will come and play it here and show this is what you would have done and whatever and whatever. In the absence of that, this is what we have. I can pull up videos of others, Mr. Manning, George Chambers, Dr. Eric Williams, Dr. Rowley. That could give you a history of their stewardship, leadership, strength, and all that. Stuart Young in energy, and the other areas, the way you speak, command, thing, whatever, and could show all that. We yet to see anything. And don't tell me it's only 18 months or how much months, because the UNC, from day one, them come on the scene and them start to implement and do what they have to do. In a couple of months, they fire 10,500 CPAP workers. After that, URP workers. After that, for reforestation workers. After that, they start to fire contracted workers. They may stick to say, well, we settling. No, it ain't no settling in this work. You can't settle in with the UNC. You have to come with your boots on to fight one time. So people, everybody on the page, Julie, Kathleen, Shirley, Sadina, Mr. Gibson, David, let me see who again, Nayabo, Charles Corbin, Joycelyn White, Leon Graves, Albert, Sadina, Brian, Angel, Judith, I remember saying Judith before, Attila, Jimmy, everybody, Marlene, Albert, let me see who again. I see my friend from England, Andrew Horton. And long time I didn't see Julian Hamilton Jr. Long time I didn't see Blackberry. Is Blackberry or Sweetberry? Some berry. I'm a whole crew. I doesn't miss all from Facebook, you know. Everybody. Thank you all for always staying locked on and tuning. Again, people as are not doing this thing directly on Facebook, I don't get how I used to have it before. So there are some pluses and negatives for me being on Bounce Up Central, but that's how progress is. But I know you're all there with me, listening on Facebook. And we continue to struggle, and we continue to stand up and speak, because we have to, you know. And again, Mr. Manning, in my opinion, based on me being a part of union and union activities and that, he did what he felt he needed to do after not having any resolved by utilizing the processes of the People's National Movement. The only way to make your voice is like you have issues home, or you try to work it out, it's not working out, you try everything. Eventually, if you want to make it work, you just go to a counselor. That is external. Sorry, that is external. You go to a counselor, you go to somebody outside to come and help intervene, because you're trying everything. So if all you don't want to listen to people and stop people's to stop people Hi, Ruthven. Hi, Emmeline. And all they want to stop people from exercising their democratic right based on the Constitution. The PNM wants you a financial member, a bona fide member, you know, in good standings. You don't have to be a part of a party group to vote in a women's league AGM. Once you're a part of the constituency and you're a woman and you're in good financial standing, you could go and vote in the women's league AGM. You don't have to belong to a party group. At the party group level, you have to be a financial member and a part of a party group to vote in the party group. And you have to be a part of a party group and then go to the constituency, chosen to go to the constituency meeting. So all the party groups send 3 people. From there, they sit and they discuss who they send into general council. And you have to be a part of the process if you want to make a change. The general council does not answer to the central executive. When the central executive with the chairman is in front, sit to chair the meeting and general council, the general council is who directs. Because I'll tell you what, if there are no central executive officers there, whether general secretary, chairman, political leader, treasurer, wherever, they're not there. The general council, once there's a quorum, could choose somebody from within the ranks and have a legally constituted meeting. So that just tells you how big the general council is. The central executive don't have to be there for a general council to have a legally constituted meeting. They just choose somebody from within the ranks and they have the quorum and they have the meetings. So the central executive supposed to come and report, should report to the general council all they want have done, doing, want to do, should I do, could I do. The general council, they are made up from the constituency and all that. They will bring the party group issue, the constituency issue to the general council, have it raised as a motion second, and they talk about it, vote on it, whatever. There's where regulations are changed and ratified, and at the National Convention, those things are brought there to be ratified. That is the process. And if you don't follow that process, you will end up in problems. All the solution to solve the problems the PNM having now is in this. I'm saying it again. They could challenge me, they could don't want to believe, share my opinion, but I'm telling you, because I come out of the PSA, ask Ms. Jennifer what is primus. The constitution of an organization is what runs the organization. If you have to go to court, the judge wants to see a constitution. And the judge going to read a constitution based on whatever grievance, whatever issue you bring before them, and based on your constitution. It can happen several times in PSA. They tell you go and you tell use the constitution and work out all the issues. And if you can't, well, come back. Because the court don't like to just get in organization issues because they have a constitution. It's just like the constitution of Trinidad and Tobago. No outside body, no regional outside body, international body can get into Trinidad and Tobago business. Because we bound by the constitution is the same way for the PNM, same way for unions. This is the key to deal with all the issues. But if you don't want to follow that, you got real problems, and that will happening in San Fernando East and other areas. Granted, in the constitution of PNM, I haven't seen it, but granted that they didn't say it didn't state that one person can hold different functions. However, it has something called ethics. You ought to know about conflict of interest and don't be on so much committees. So you can't just simply use the constitution and say, well, the constitution didn't say. You remember the constitution is not a living thing, you know. It's the people that make these regulations and things come to life. So although it may not say that you cannot be on several lands, good grief. What about upward mobility for other people? So you all want to control everything and nobody else? What about the fact that conflict of interest could arise being on all these different committees? You're not thinking about that? So we need to know what we want. We can't be half pregnant. We can't want the present opposition leader, political leader. And when people say they have seen her done nothing to advance the cause of the PNM, we haven't grown anywhere, wherever, you can't be vexed with people if they're doing that. And if we say we support ABC, because I hear a beggar talking and saying, yes, I say that word. And I'm not regretting saying it, or I ain't going to take it back, a beggar, because it has reached to them kind of position. Like you have, and I'm talking about the man on the street who really don't have nothing with the woman and they ask. And I ain't talking about that. Okay, let me put it so. Political beggar, I saying so. You know, just so first them is jumpy. You know, I lost my train. I thought they boy. Hey. Anyhow. Talking about, so if who we support and who don't support Penny, when them come, if they go war the people who support and Penny are putting it my way to support that person. Well, let me tell you that the most stupidest piece of logic I see put out there. In fact, that is not logic, that's illogic. Because if the person, whoever is chosen, voted or whatever, if somebody could do the work and pull the party together and whatever it is, whether it is supporting Penny before or not, whatever, you will support that person in the interest of the party. But you can't tell me somebody come who competent, could do the work, who actually doing the work, and because you don't like Penny, and because we wasn't supporting Penny, now you're going to support that person. What happens? Little children we have here, or that tit for tat chopping, that little children thing. If Miss Penny Beckers was able to do the work in my opinion, I support her in the morning, but there's no evidence to show. And I'm not seeing PNM going away. I'm not supporting. That I'm one individual. I don't know why other people are not supporting or supporting. I can tell you about me. This is my issue and I can tell you about me. So again, as I say, I want the best for the country. I want the best for the PNM. I want the best person to lead. My opinion, the person who they know is not the best. Not because I don't like the woman or have anything against the woman. She looked like a really nice person. You could lie with she down to it, everything. But that is not enough to move PNM from 13 seats to get about 26 or 27 seats in 2030. That's not enough. And if all they're saying she should grow into it, while she growing into it, the country going more and more down and the PNM divide getting wider and wider. So all they have to make up all their mind. All they have to make up all their mind. People, love you all. See you all on Tuesday. Go spend a comment something for something new. This is Girl Jen, Sister Jenny, Auntie Jenny. And if you want to get from Miss Jennifer Frederick, another edition of Without the Ting Unfiltered. People be safe out there. Do the right thing. Stand in the interest. Always right. Hug your family. Look out for the young ones. Look out for the vulnerable ones. The weather, the heat and all that. Look in your community. If you could help a child to go to school, a school book, a school bag, a word, a thought, something. If you see something in any abuses because of the situation, don't let the child or the mother or the father or whoever sit down and that, or they make a call, let somebody come and intervene and help the scene and all that. We gotta be our brother's keeper, come back to that. And all the PNM people, Port of Spain, North St. Anne Sweat Party Group 20 is having a, let me get it quickly and read it there for you all. Just a minute. Oh gosh, what do you think? What do you think? Give me a minute. Okay. Right, let me see if I get it here. Right. Constituency of Port of Spain North St. Anne's West, Party Group 20, proudly invites our distinguished PNM family to our pre-independence national reflections, honoring the past while celebrating the future. Featured speakers, Mr. Ashton Ford, former General Secretary, and also how will you pronounce his name? Makaya Mack, the Constituency Youth League Chairman. And we also have spoken word presentation by Roots Foundation. It's on August the 28th 2026, 5:30 p.m. at Belmont Community Center. Light refreshments and, of course, entertainment. So come out and support. It's not just support us, St. Anne's West Party Group. Everybody, you don't have to be a part of a party group. You don't have to be a part of a women's league. You don't have to be part of a constituency. You could just be a supporter of the PNM, or you want to come to listen to why the PNM is such an important factor and facet of the Trinidad and Tobago landscape. And you're not only going to hear from a respected stalwart who them don't respect, but you're going to also hear from a young person's perspective. So please come out and give that support. People, I love you all. Love you all. See you all on Tuesday, God spare. Hope you enjoy the music.
When does someone really become a good citizen? I'd like to know for sure. Why, when the ordinary man disagrees with the establishment, they call it treason. Why should they persecute a brother for seeking black power? Don't they know a blind man could see that this is blatant hypocrisy? The real traitors and them are all high in society. Yet the government protecting all of them and penalizing you and me. And in a million different ways they violate the law. It's the same good no good bastards who oppress the poor. They sell in black market, making excess profit, paying a starvation salary. These good citizens are the architects of economic slavery. They say you have the right to criticize, but then you are victimized, and without any reason. Many a time you find yourself politically paralyzed by that same good citizen. Yet these fakes and phonies enjoy a long life of luxury while they spread corruption throughout the country. When they should be arrested, they're protected and respected in this society. And in a million different ways, they violate the law. It's the same good no good bastards who oppress the poor. With a false declaration, tax evasion, defrauding customs duty. These good citizens are the architects of economic slavery. Lust and greed and fraud and strife, they specialize. Double deals, they idolize. If you're brave enough to open your mouth and criticize, one time you are ostracized and or victimized. Still they go unpunished and unaccused of any crime, while on the backs of the ordinary man these vultures climb. They use the riches and the power, make a mockery of the law, and have the law protect them same time. In a million different ways they violate the law. It's the same good no good bastards who oppress the poor. They controlling bootlegging, dope peddling, prostitution and piracy. These good citizens are the architects of economic slavery.
Thank you.